Welcome to the Wife Stories YouTube channel. New video every day, and don't forget to subscribe. Here we go.
It doesn't mean anything. I keep hearing that line over and over in my head, even though I'm the only one in this bedroom. The clock by the bed shows it's 3 in the morning. I haven't slept at all. The blankets feel suffocating, my pulse pounds in my ears, and I stare at the white ceiling with the kind of panic that scorches your mind. Short breaths. Short thoughts. I wrestle with my own lungs. I want to believe it. Her words that day, delivered with a careless shrug, and a laugh that felt sharp enough to slice through bone. She said it so dismissively, like it was a trifle, a small joke gone sour. It doesn't mean anything, John. Relax. But that line echoes now, louder and louder, as if someone lit a fuse in my chest. I can't turn it off. I push the blankets off. My feet land on the cold floor. My fingers are trembling, but not from the chill. I try to regulate my breathing, press a hand to my chest. It's too late for that. The swirl of images I have, Sarah with him, all those small changes in her routine, the texts she tried to hide, the receipts from that hotel out near the freeway, are a storm inside my skull. They sting like acid behind my eyes. I stand. Every movement feels too abrupt, too violent, like I can't control the tension in my own muscles. The house is silent, but I hate how loud my footsteps sound on the hardwood floor. The dog, our lab, Max, lifts his head from the rug near the living room couch and looks at me, confused. Normally I'd pat his head and whisper something like, "It's okay, buddy," but tonight I don't have that in me. I head to the kitchen. Flick on the overhead light. It's harsh and sterile. My reflection in the window, pale, hollow-eyed 38-year-old me, looks like a stranger. For a moment, I see him, the other man, overlapping with my reflection. Mark, with that perfect hair, that smug smile. I close my eyes and try to push the image away, but it's branded too deep. Sarah had said it once more. "John, it doesn't mean anything, okay?" She didn't even blink. That was the evening I found the shopping bag in her trunk, a man's name on the receipt. A name that wasn't mine. A slick, careless scrawl. Nothing to do with me, she claimed. But the more she insisted, the more I felt my mind fracturing. I reach into a cabinet for a glass, fill it with tap water. The water tastes metallic and cold, but at least it gives me something to hold. I place the glass down and stare at it. My fingers trace its rim, wanting to break it, smash it, do something, anything. But I don't. I think of the bed upstairs, the place where I first tasted her tears on our wedding night, when she was so happy she actually cried. It all feels like a relic now. I breathe in. I breathe out. I want to keep calm. But the memories attack me in vivid, brutal detail. I see them together, even though I wasn't physically there. My mind conjures the scene like a twisted movie. Sarah's body pressed against Mark in some hotel room. The hum of cheap air conditioning. The half-drawn blinds letting in a slit of neon from the highway sign outside. Her hair tousled. The flush on her cheeks. And him, maybe whispering something into her ear, making her laugh that husky laugh she used to share only with me. My jaw aches because I'm clenching it so tight. I grip the edge of the kitchen counter to steady myself. The image intensifies. Mark's hands traveling along her waist, her lips parting in that half-sigh, half-moan. Did she say his name? Did she wrap her legs around him the way she used to do with me, back in the days when she craved me? I can almost feel the heat of it. My own breath comes out in ragged bursts. "It's just a fling, John," she said that night I confronted her. Her voice was calm, measured. "It's nothing. I'm still here, aren't I?" As if I should be grateful she came home at all. As if what she did in that hotel was a random indulgence, no deeper than a casual handshake. My hand trembles on the counter. I want to rake my nails across the surface, tear something. But all I do is watch my reflection in the black window glass, flickering in the fluorescent light. I remember how she used to smell when she'd come home, warm, like vanilla, and a little citrus. But recently it changed, or maybe it was me who changed. She'd slip into the shower almost immediately, or linger outside, calling a friend in hushed tones. I told myself I was imagining things. I open my mouth, but no words come out. I feel a surge of anger so big that it knocks the breath from me. Yet it dissipates just as quickly, leaving me hollow and unsteady. Upstairs, she's probably asleep, or maybe she's lying awake, half expecting me to barge in and demand answers for the 1000th time. But that time is gone. I already asked. I already demanded. She gave me her best imitation of sincerity. She tried to place a hand on my cheek and say, "Please, John, you know me." That was when I realized I didn't know her at all. Or maybe I used to. And now she's someone else entirely. The clock on the wall says 3:17 a.m. I can't stay here. The walls feel like they're closing in. The house is so quiet, it's maddening. I grab the nearest jacket and slip on my shoes, quietly so I don't wake her. A rush of cold air hits me the second I step outside. The moon is almost full, casting everything in a silver glow. Our driveway, the mailbox, the silent street. I stand there, remembering how many nights I spent in that garage, working on small repairs. How many times she came out just to bring me a beer or say, "You need any help, honey?" Now the car in the driveway is hers. Well, was hers. I have the keys somewhere inside. She doesn't know yet what I'm planning. I can't stand the idea of her driving around to meet him in that car. Racking up miles she tells me are for work or errands. I step forward and open the side door to the garage. The smell of motor oil and dust greets me. My old tools glint in the darkness. I flick on the single overhead bulb. Immediately, I feel calmer here among the wrenches and half-finished woodwork. This was always my domain, my place to breathe. I walk over to the car. It's not fancy, but she loves it. She calls it her escape pod, jokes about how it's the only place she can blast music or get away from everything. When I open the passenger door, the dome light illuminates the interior. On the seat is a faint outline of dust, or maybe makeup powder, from where she set her bag. I slide in behind the steering wheel. The seat still smells like her perfume, something floral with a hint of spice. I grip the wheel and close my eyes. In my head, I see her behind this same wheel, phone perched on the dash, maybe texting him while at a red light, telling him she's on her way, that she's wearing something special. My stomach churns. There's a wave of bitterness so potent it almost makes me gag. I remember my mother's face when she lied to me, telling me everything was fine, that Dad was just away on business, when I knew he was with someone else. Back then, I learned to keep my hand steady, to show no fear, no sadness, because that was the only way to survive. I guess I carried that skill into adulthood. Now my hands rest quietly on the steering wheel. They're not trembling. My vision is sharp. I lean my head back. This is the car I'll sell tomorrow. And I'll do it for cheap, too. A slap in the face to her, to him, to everything that's rotted inside our marriage. Outside, a distant siren wails. It fades. I almost want to laugh at the absurdity of it all, but no sound comes out. Instead, I push open the door, get back to my feet, and step out onto the cold concrete. I leave the garage door ajar as I walk back into the house. Max wags his tail softly when I enter, but I'm too distant to acknowledge it beyond a brief glance. He senses my turmoil. Dogs always do. But I'm not sure if I can comfort him tonight or comfort myself. Upstairs, the bedroom door is open a crack. No sound. Maybe she's asleep, maybe not. I walk in anyway, stand at the foot of the bed. She's there, lying on her side, her back to me, the blanket drawn up to her shoulder. For a second, I recall how beautiful she looked the first time we spent the night together, the first time she let me see her in nothing but that battered t-shirt. My pulse quickens again, but with anger. She said, "It's only physical, John," as if that makes it okay. as if it's no big deal that she let him explore every inch of her skin. The same skin I once thought was mine to cherish. My chest tightens. I want to rip the covers off her, drag her out of the bed, force her to look me in the eye. But that's not me. I won't do it. Instead, I whisper, "I hope you're satisfied." She doesn't stir. I turn and walk to the closet, rummage for a suitcase. My heart is pounding so hard, it feels like the beat is going to bust my ribs. I yank down a couple of her dresses, stuff them in. My movements are sudden, vicious. But I don't speak. I do this in silence, except for the rustling of fabric. When the suitcase is almost full, I stop and stare at the row of shoes, heels and flats, her workout sneakers, boots she wore to that fancy holiday party last winter. I see them lined up neatly, and all I can think is how each pair might have been worn to meet him. The idea sears through me like a knife. I grab a handful of shoes, not caring if they're in pairs, and shove them on top of the clothes. Behind me, I hear the bedsheets move. Her voice comes out hoarse. "John, what are you doing?" I don't turn. "Packing." She sits up. The blanket slips off her shoulder, revealing that white tank top she sleeps in. Her hair is messy, eyes half-lidded with exhaustion. "Stop. It's the middle of the night. We can talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about," I say. My voice is flat, cold, each word precise like in a courtroom. I'm doing what has to be done. She clutches the blanket around herself, as if she's protecting something. "You're overreacting, honey. It was a misunderstanding. Please, can't we just calm down?" I let out a laugh that has no mirth in it. "Calm down? You think I should calm down about your affair, or about the fact that you bring home new clothes for him? Which is it?" She bites her lip. I see her eyes dart to the suitcase. "That was a gift for a friend, John. You're making it bigger than it is." I whip around, holding a black stiletto in one hand. "Whose mark, then?" The flicker in her expression is all I need. Fear, guilt, a little spark of anger that she can't hide. She doesn't answer. "Exactly," I say. Then I slip the stiletto into the suitcase. "Go back to bed, or pack the rest yourself." "I don't care." She tries to stand, but her legs tangle in the sheet. Her voice trembles when she says, "Don't do this, John. We can figure things out. You know I love you." "Love me," I echo. It feels bitter in my mouth. "Right." With that, I yank the suitcase up, carry it out of the closet, and place it by the bedroom door. She doesn't move. She just sits there, eyes wide, tears brimming at the edges. Once, those tears would have shattered my resolve. But not tonight. I walk out into the hallway, shutting the door behind me, but not fully. Just enough to block the line of sight. I lean against the wall, heart pounding like I ran a marathon. I want to scream at her, but the anger is so sharp that it almost paralyzes me. Downstairs again. Max follows me, tail low. I can't rest. I check the clock. It's 4:10 a.m., not even an hour has passed. The night is endless. At some point, I must drift into a half-sleep on the couch, because when I open my eyes again, there's a dull light creeping through the window. My neck hurts from the awkward angle. Footsteps on the stairs startle me. She steps into the living room, hugging herself. She's changed into jeans and a sweater, hair pulled back in a tight bun. She looks fragile, the way she did once when she was sick with the flu. But this isn't an illness, or if it is, it's one of her own making. "John," she says softly, "we can't just throw everything away." I stand up slowly. My body feels stiff. It's already gone. She walks closer, but stops a few feet away. "You're going to regret this," she whispers. "You're a good man. You're not the type to do something drastic." I nearly laugh. "You have no idea what I'm capable of." Her eyes flicker. "Are you threatening me?" I shake my head. I'm stating a fact. She starts to speak again, but I cut her off, gesturing for her to stop, as though I'm a judge ordering silence. Enough, Sarah. You can tell your side of the story to your friends. You can spin it however you want. I'm done hearing it. Her mouth hangs open for a moment, but she says nothing. Then she turns on her heel and heads back upstairs. The old stairs creak under her weight. Each step feels like an accusation, an echo of everything we once were. In a swirl of bitterness, I snatch my phone from the coffee table. I open Craigslist and type out a quick ad for the car. No details about the affair, just a photo, the make and model, a ridiculously low price. Need gone ASAP. My fingers move fast, driven by an anger so strong it feels like adrenaline. I hit post. A short time later, my phone buzzes with interest. People jump at cheap deals. I decide to finalize it with the first serious buyer. No questions asked. The day crawls forward. She doesn't come back downstairs. I don't go up. We exist in a standoff, separated by a flimsy wall and an ocean of betrayal. By noon, I get a confirmation. A guy named Victor will be here to look at the car within the hour. I go to the garage, gather the registration, the keys. My hands are steady. I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the side mirror. Hollow eyes, clenched jaw, fury burning like a blue flame. But I'm calm. Dead calm. He arrives, a short man in his 50s, face weathered from years in the sun. I show him the car. He's surprised by the low price. But I tell him, I just want it gone. He shrugs. Sure, man. Let's do it. We do the paperwork on the hood, sign where needed. I glance at the passenger seat one last time. I can still smell her perfume in there, swirling with the stale scent of heartbreak. Victor hands me an envelope of cash. It's less than half the car's real value. But I don't care. She appears in the doorway to the house, eyes wide in disbelief. I ignore her. I pass the keys to Victor. He thanks me, climbs in, and starts the engine. It sounds exactly as it did when I used to do her oil changes. A second later, he's backing out of the driveway. The car is gone. She screams from the open door. What did you do, John? I say nothing. I walk inside, shut the door behind me, leaving her outside. I hear her footsteps pounding up the steps to the porch. She's yelling now, her voice cracking, full of rage and disbelief. I lock the door. For a moment, I stand there in the foyer, letting her shouts wash over me like rain. She's banging on the wood, demanding I open, demanding an explanation, cursing me for being insane. I open the closet, find her suitcase, the one I stuffed with clothes last night, and set it neatly by the door. I twist the lock again, yank the door open. She almost loses her balance, stumbling in. I set the suitcase at her feet. Take your things. Her voice is shrill. Where's my car? Sold, I reply flatly. She gapes at me, as though I slapped her across the face. You can't just do that. That's my car. I hold up the title. Her name was never on it, only mine. She'd wanted it that way for insurance reasons. A faint smirk curves my lips, though I feel no humor. Legally, it's mine. She stares, and I see tears brimming again, but this time they're tears of rage. You're insane, John. Take your suitcase, I repeat, my voice neutral, cold. I believe you said you had somewhere else to be. She tries to form words, stammers. You can't. This is my home. It stopped being your home the day you let him put his hands on you. I say. Each word is like a bullet from a judge's bench. She flinches. That's not. Don't. My voice is a low growl. Don't you dare try to deny it now. She looks away, blinking fast. Then she tries a new tack, her voice trembling. John, we've been through so much. We can talk about therapy, or something. Couples counseling. Couples counseling won't fix betrayal, I say. Now get out. She seems ready to fight, to push further, but the conviction drains from her eyes. She stoops, grabs the handle of the suitcase. I see the tremor in her grip. She's terrified, not just of me, but of the finality of it all. At last, she whispers, "Fine. I'm going to my friend's place. Don't think this is over." Then she stomps off the porch, the suitcase bumping behind her. I watch her go, my chest feeling like a vacuum. I expect triumph or relief or something like victory. Instead, I feel numb. She climbs into an Uber that arrived out front. Maybe she called it in the middle of her meltdown, and disappears down the street. Then the silence returns. I step back inside, close the door gently, rest my forehead against the wood. I realize I've been holding my breath. I let it out in a long, ragged exhale. The house is quiet except for the faint ticking of a clock. The place that once felt warm with her presence is now hollow. I move to the window, watch the last trace of the rideshare vanish around the corner. For a moment, I see in my mind's eye that other man, Mark, with his immaculate grin, his charm, and her. I wonder how they'll spin this story, how she'll run to him, or some friend to cry about how I've changed or become a monster. Maybe that's what I am now. A monster. A man undone by betrayal, lashing out in silent rage. My mother's words come back to me from decades ago. Sometimes it's better to pretend you don't see the truth, John. But I'm done pretending. In the quiet hallway, I let out a shuddering breath. My hands are still, my body unexpectedly calm. And yet inside, something is crushed. I picture them in that cheap motel near the freeway. The dim lamp, the white sheets crumpled in a tangle around their legs, her nails raking across his back. The memory scalds me, though it's an imagined memory. I never actually saw it, but it might as well be real. The way she laughs, the hush in her voice when she's turned on. Those details used to be mine. Now they're his. I walk to the kitchen. Everything is exactly as I left it. Glass on the counter, water stale from sitting overnight. The dog looks up at me with worried eyes. I pat him once on the head, then slump into a chair. I think about death. I think about how, in these moments, it would be such a sweet release just to vanish, to let this pain dissipate into nothingness. It's a fleeting thought, but strong enough to make my breath hitch. I feel worthless, but I won't do that. Some stubborn part of me insists on surviving. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's pride, or maybe it's the faint hope that I can rebuild myself from the rubble of this life. Time stumbles along. I stare at the lines on the tabletop, the wood grain, remembering the nights we had dinner here. She'd set the plates, I'd pour the drinks, we'd talk about the day. The illusions, how did I not see the slow drift? Or maybe I did but refused to name it. Eventually, I grab a trash bag and head upstairs to gather more of her belongings. I want them out, every single reminder of her. Her favorite pillows, her lotions, her design magazines. I lug them downstairs and set them near the door. By evening, the place looks emptier, but ironically a bit cleaner. As if purging her presence also purged a lingering chaos. That's when she comes back, about 8 hours later, with 2 of her friends. They stand on the porch, uncertain. She clearly told them something. I see them exchange glances. One friend, an older woman with dyed blonde hair, steps forward. "John, let's discuss this rationally." "Step aside," I say quietly, pointing to the bags of her things by the door. "Take them if you want." Sarah tries to push past me, but I block her. "You're not welcome here," I say. Her voice quivers with anger. "This is my house too." "No, it's mine." I say, "Look up the deed." She folds her arms, tears forming in her eyes again. "You can't just throw me out like trash." I keep my tone precise, emotionless. "Sarah, you left this marriage the moment you turned to him. The rest is a formality." Her friend tries to intervene. "Let's calm down. Everybody's upset. These things happen. People make mistakes." I glare at her, voice low. This wasn't a mistake. It was a conscious betrayal. She opens her mouth, but no words come out. The tension is thick. Sarah stomps toward the door again, but I hold my arm out like a barrier. She's close enough I can smell her perfume. That same flowery scent that used to signal comfort. Now it only makes me sick. I look her square in the eye. I'm done. Tears spill over, but her face contorts with fury. She seems about to scream, but instead she grabs a bag and storms away from the porch. Her friend follows, giving me a wide berth. The third woman, younger, maybe a sister of one of them, lingers a moment and says softly, "She says you're closing off. That you won't even listen." I shrug. I listened plenty. She had her chance. She nods once, as if acknowledging the finality in my voice. Then she turns and leaves, taking the last bag. The door swings shut. Silence. Max whines, tail down. He's never seen such hostility here. I sink onto the couch, stare at the empty living room. Light is fading outside, painting the walls in a subdued pinkish hue. In that moment, I realize I have no tears left. No sobs, no rage that can't be controlled. I feel hollow. That night, I go out to the garage again. Can't sleep, so I occupy myself with some old woodworking pieces. I run sandpaper across an unfinished table leg. The repetition calms me. My thoughts roam like ghosts across a battlefield. I see Mark's face in my mind again. The next second, I imagine them together, panting in that narrow motel bed. Rage flares. I jam the sandpaper down onto the wood, almost splitting it. Then I catch myself, take a breath, and ease up. I wonder if he's holding her right now, telling her everything will be fine, that I'm just an old fool who can't handle a modern world. Maybe she's crying on his shoulder. Maybe she's furious. My hands tighten around the table leg. Eventually, the night passes in a blur. I doze off on the workbench, my cheek resting against the cold wood. When dawn comes, I shuffle inside. I feed Max. I pour coffee, black and bitter, forcing it down. I stare at the phone. The only messages are from an unknown number. Some buyer asking if there's another vehicle for sale. I let the phone drop to the table. A new day, the same emptiness. She calls me around noon, her name flashing on my screen. I brace myself and answer in a terse monotone. She sniffles. "We need to talk." "About what?" "Us. Our marriage." "Don't do this, John." I pause, remembering how she once vowed to stand by me no matter what. The vow means nothing now. "There is no us, Sarah." Her voice cracks. "I didn't mean to. I was just." "Enough," I say. I heard all the excuses. They don't matter. She tries again. "Listen to me, please. It wasn't love. I was just bored, or lonely, or I don't even know. Don't you see? It wasn't about replacing you. I swear." I squeeze my eyes shut, a dull headache forming behind them. "Sarah, you replaced me the moment you let him in. Physically, emotionally, it doesn't matter. You think a marriage can just continue after that. I'll do anything," she whispers, voice trembling. "I'll cut him off. I'll move back in. I'll make it up to you." Something in me snaps. Make it up to me. What does that even mean, Sarah? Make me forget the images in my head. The way I can smell your perfume in a cheap motel. The way you laughed with him. Her silence is deafening. Then she tries. "Maybe time will." "Time won't fix betrayal," I interrupt. "You think with a few weeks or months I'll forget how you gave yourself to another man? How you lied?" She lets out a broken sob. "I'm sorry, John." I force my voice to remain flat. "You're sorry because you got caught. That's all." She starts to say something else, but I've had enough. "Don't call me again," I say. "Not unless it's about legal matters. Goodbye." I hang up. My hand trembles as I set the phone down, but my eyes are dry. And so the days pass in a bleak, mechanical fashion. She tries once more to come by, but I don't let her in. She stands on the porch, pleading, tears streaming, telling me she's changed her number, blocked Mark, done everything. She begs for a second chance. I open the door only wide enough to thrust out a stack of her mail, then close it in her face. She can tell her story however she wants. Maybe she'll say she left me. Maybe she'll say I'm an abusive recluse. I don't care. My mother used to say the same about my father. He's distant, an angry man. But I realize now that I inherited something from him. The refusal to beg for someone's love when they've stomped all over it. At night, I still can't sleep well. The old bed feels empty. I wander from room to room, remembering how her laughter echoed here, how we hosted dinners for her friends. She always made me stand near her, introduced me proudly as her husband, a rock in her life. The memory is sour now. One afternoon, I make the decision to gather all the small items she left behind, her cosmetic bag, the favorite coffee mug with a silly quote, a few photos from a trip we took years ago. I place them in a cardboard box. I set the box on the porch, snap a picture, and send it to her phone. Come get these, or I'll toss them. Within half an hour, a car pulls up. It's not her usual friend. It's him. Mark. My heart stops for a moment. I see him step out, wearing a crisp shirt, sunglasses, hairstyled just so. My gut twists. He looks around, tension in his posture. I watch from the living room window with the blinds partially drawn. He goes to the porch, picks up the box. I see him glance toward the front door, like maybe he's waiting for me to come out. I stand there, heart hammering, half of me itching to confront him. Let him see the hatred in my eyes. But I don't move. I don't want to give him the satisfaction. He sets the box on the porch railing, presumably checking if everything is there. He calls someone on his phone, maybe Sarah. And then he says something, expression irritated. After a moment, he slams the trunk of his car, sets the box inside, and drives off. I feel a surge of relief, but also something else, an emptiness that gnaws at me. This is it. It's done. She's with him, or at least he's the one running errands for her. The final strings are cut. After he leaves, I remain by the window for a long time, hand resting on the sill. My reflection is faint, half lost in the bright daylight. I stare at that reflection, try to see if I recognize myself. I don't. I see a man whose dreams have been gutted, a man who once believed in loyalty, in building a life together. Now that foundation is rotted. Nights turn into weeks. She's gone. In the small circles of this town, rumors swirl. Some people say she left me. Others say I threw her out. It doesn't matter. I keep to myself, going to work, coming home, feeding the dog, sleeping in fits. The bitterness stays with me, a constant companion. Then, one gray morning, I get a call from an unknown number. I almost ignore it, but a flicker of curiosity makes me pick up. It's Mark. My fist clenches around the phone, but I don't speak. He exhales. John, I'm not looking for trouble. I just want to talk. Talk. My voice is cold. You've got a lot of nerve. He sounds tense, maybe anxious. I know. Listen, Look, Sarah's a mess. She's blaming me, blaming you. She says you're pushing her over the edge. I laugh. A short, harsh sound. Really? That's interesting. Did you expect something else? I don't know. Maybe we can settle things. She might come after you legally, claim half the house. You know that, right? I'm just warning you. Why do you care? He hesitates. Because I never wanted this. I never wanted to ruin your life or ours. It just happened. I'm sorry. My grip on the phone tightens. It just happened, I echo. Like you tripped and fell into my wife's bed. He says nothing. I breathe hard, forcing myself not to explode. I sold her car. Tossed her things. If she wants the house, let her fight. I'm not giving her a penny more than she's entitled to. She can forget about love or forgiveness. John, he says slowly, I'm just the messenger here. No, I say, my tone turning lethal. You're the man who decided my marriage was an opportunity. You knew she wasn't free. Things are complicated, he protests. Not for me. I snap. I don't share. You want her, you got her. Deal with the fallout. You called me for what, pity? Or do you expect me to roll over? He sighs, sounding weary. I didn't expect anything. I just, look, man, I get it. I deserve your anger. I'm not proud of what happened. I grip the phone so hard it hurts. Then don't call me again, I say and end the call abruptly. I lean on the kitchen counter, trembling with rage. That was the first direct contact with him, and it left me feeling raw, as if my veins are on fire. My stomach churns. I want to smash something. Instead, I clamp my eyes shut, try to breathe through the fury. The next day, she shows up at the door once more, alone this time. Her eyes are rimmed with red. She looks thinner than before, hair pulled back tight, face drawn. I step outside, close the door behind me. We stand on the porch in the late afternoon light, the dog barking inside. She runs a hand along the porch railing. John, I'm sorry, she begins. Her voice is subdued, like she's been crying. I didn't mean to cause you so much pain. I don't respond. I just watch her. Her eyes flick to mine, searching. I understand why you're furious. I know I was wrong. But can't we try to fix things? I exhale slowly. Stop. She inhales a shaky breath. You used to love me so much. I did. I say, each word like lead. That's why this is all worthless now. She opened her mouth, but I raise a hand in a commanding gesture, as though objecting in court. Don't. Just don't. Tears spill down her cheeks. I hate that it's come to this. I can't stand the sight of her tears, not because I feel sorry for her, but because they remind me of what used to be. So do I. She steps closer, tries to place a hand on my arm. I pull away. She wipes her eyes. Then what is there left to do? I tilt my head, staring at a knot in the wood of the porch. You tell me. I say quietly. You gave up on us. You can tell people whatever story you want. In the end, you left me. Now live with that. She whispers, I never left you. You're the one shutting the door. A sudden burst of anger cracks my composure. I slam my palm on the railing, making her jump. You left the moment you let him into your bed. I roar. The outburst is so violent that my vision blurs for an instant. She's trembling, tears streaming. I didn't know. I was lost. I don't reply. My breathing is ragged. Inside, a voice repeats, This is who you are now, John. This rage, this emptiness. She opens her mouth to say something else, but no words come. Finally, she lowers her gaze, descends the porch steps, and climbs into another waiting rideshare. She doesn't look back. When she's gone, I just stand there, my hand stinging from the impact. Eventually, I go inside. I slump against the wall, feeling that same old numbness creeping in. Over the following weeks, I get the official letter from her lawyer, claiming half of certain assets, a chunk of the house's value if we sell. I read it without emotion. I knew it was coming. I pass it on to my own lawyer. Let them wrangle over details. I don't care about the money. I care that I can't wake up from this nightmare. Friends and coworkers ask me if I'm okay. I give them a curt nod. I'm fine. They see the storm behind my eyes, but they don't pry. Maybe they sense it's dangerous. One Saturday, I go out to the backyard to bury old memories. Literally. I have a box of photos, small gifts she once gave me. I dig a hole near the back fence and dump the items in. Then I cover them with soil. Max sits nearby, whimpering softly. I pat his head. It's over, boy. I say. It's all over. But the final blow comes when I hear from a mutual acquaintance that she's telling people she walked out on me, that I was emotionally vacant, that I forced her to find comfort elsewhere. I feel a pang of something that's almost laughter. Let her say that. Let her spin it however she wants. I think about calling her, confronting her with the truth, but then I realize it doesn't matter. The truth is in what she did, not in what she says. And I've seen enough of life to know some battles aren't worth fighting in public. Weeks pass. I sign some papers. I mail them to her lawyer. The house is still mine for now. The settlement is a fraction of what she might have gotten if I had been less prepared. But I don't rub that in. She gets enough to move on. Maybe get a new place. Maybe Mark will help her out. The finality of it all weighs on me. And then one evening I find myself alone in the living room, the overhead light off, the sun setting outside. I sink into the couch. The quiet hum of the fridge in the kitchen is the only sound. I think about those first months of our marriage, about the sweet domestic rituals, her reaching up to straighten my collar, me stealing a kiss before work. The swirl of illusions we built. Gone. A dull ache lingers in my chest. I wonder if I'm even the same man anymore. Maybe I died the moment I realized she was with him. Maybe who I am now is just a phantom, going through the motions. A phone call jolts me. It's from an unknown number again. I stare at it for a moment, then answer. Silence. Then a breath. John. Sarah's voice says. Quiet. Uncertain. I don't speak. She exhales shakily. I heard you sign the papers. Yes. I say. A pause. Thank you. I guess this means it's over. I finish for her. She sniffles. Mark and we aren't together anymore. That sends a small flicker of something through me. I don't know if it's satisfaction, regret, or just emptiness. That's none of my concern. She's quiet for a beat. I'm alone now. And I'm sorry. My mouth forms a grim line. I'm sure you are. She lets out a bitter laugh that sounds like a sob. You're cold. I close my eyes. What did you expect? I guess. I don't know. She sighs. I thought maybe there was a chance for us. But you destroyed it. I say, my tone crisp as a verdict. Her breath catches. Take care, John. The line goes dead. I lower the phone, stare into the darkness. Time drags on. I settle into a rhythm of solitude. Work, home, minimal contact with neighbors. Eventually, the paperwork finalizes. She's legally out of my life in every sense. The house is mine to keep. One afternoon, a neighbor remarks that she's telling everyone she left you. I shrug, because I just don't care anymore. My mother calls, tries to see if I'm all right. I tell her everything's fine, that I'm handling it. She doesn't press. She must sense the old walls I learned to build as a kid. Maybe 2 months later, I'm sitting in the living room, the TV on mute, flipping through channels without really watching. The dog sleeps at my feet. The phone buzzes. A text from a friend. Saw Sarah at the grocery store. She looks rough. You okay? I put the phone down. I realize that for the first time in a while, my hands aren't shaking. My heart isn't pounding. I feel calm. Not happy, not free, but calm enough to function. I let the days slip by, and night finds me in the garage again, messing with an old engine. My mind drifts. I recall the moment I sold her car, how final it felt. The memory doesn't make me shake. It just feels like the inevitable step I had to take. At some point, I notice my reflection in the metal of the engine block. My expression is empty, eyes dull. I wonder, am I alive or just going through the motions? I set the wrench down, flex my fingers, and realize I'm not trembling. There's a sense of acceptance in that. And maybe a sense of loss, because I'm no longer the man who believed wholeheartedly in a love that could conquer everything. That man died the night I discovered her betrayal. I stand. My back twinges. I brush grease from my hands, turn off the garage light, step outside into the cold night air. The stars are bright. I look up at them, letting my breath curl into the darkness. I remember the first time we stargazed together, lying on a blanket in the backyard, a bottle of cheap wine between us. We whispered about the future, about kids, about traveling the world. Dreams. Now those dreams are cinders. I walk slowly back toward the house. My head is quiet, like a radio turned off. No racing thoughts, no swirling images, just an eerie calm. I enter the living room and switch on a lamp. The soft glow illuminates the photo frames I haven't yet removed. There's a picture of her, smiling in front of a waterfall, and me beside her, arm around her waist. We look happy. I lift the frame. My chest feels tight. Part of me wants to smash it, but another part of me is just too tired. I set it face down on the coffee table instead, as though that alone is symbolic enough. Then I sink onto the couch. The silence in the house is immense. I realize I don't mind it anymore. I welcome it. It's better than the lies, better than the pitying glances, better than hearing her voice saying it doesn't mean anything. Because it did. It meant everything. It meant the death of the life we built, the trust we shared. I close my eyes. I don't dream of her tonight, or him, or anything at all. For once, my sleep is deep and black. In the morning, I wake up, feed the dog, drink coffee while the early sun filters through the kitchen windows. I sense a shift inside me, like I'm coming out the other side of a war. My body is battered, my soul is raw, but I'm standing. I shower, dress, go to work. My coworkers greet me with cautious smiles. I nod in return. One or two approach, testing the waters. How are things? I meet their eyes evenly. I'm all right. It doesn't feel like a lie anymore. Still, the day is long. In the breaks between tasks, I think about how I used to share details of my day with Sarah, or how we planned dinner. Now I have no one to plan with, just me and a quiet house. By evening, I return home. Step inside. The dog rushes up, tail wagging. I manage a small smile and pat him. Then I place my keys on the table, noticing the empty space where she used to toss hers. That's when I realize I'm not sure who I am anymore. A part of me died along with my illusions. I'm a man who sold his wife's car out of pure spite. A man who kicked her out with hardly a word. A man who learned that the woman he loved gave herself to another, and something inside me snapped. I wander the house, turning off lights, shutting windows. Everything is neat, in its place. It feels like a lonely fortress. I climb the stairs, hand on the banister, my footsteps echoing. Her presence is gone from the bedroom. No perfume, no clothes, no makeup on the dresser. Just my things, neatly arranged. I stand there, uncertain. My reflection in the mirror is stark. The lines on my face deeper, my eyes older. I reach up to touch my chin. For a moment, I recall how she used to tilt my face to kiss me softly in the morning, back when things were good. But that memory is like a candle blown out. It's done. I turn off the light, slip under the covers, and stare at the ceiling in the darkness. The clock ticks softly. I feel the edges of my pillow. My mind replays her final tear-streaked face, that moment on the porch. I wonder if part of me wanted to pull her into my arms, to cling to the hope that maybe love can overcome betrayal. But I said nothing. The dog circles once, settles by the foot of the bed. I exhale slowly, letting my muscles relax. My heart beats in a steady rhythm, not pounding like before. There's a thought drifting in the back of my mind. The dream of oblivion, of simply vanishing. But it's fainter now, overshadowed by an odd sense of closure. I survived. I survived her deceit. I survived her attempt to come back. I survived the phone calls, the stares, the rumors. I parted with illusions of marriage and trust. And I didn't die. I'm still here. My hands rest on the blanket. They don't tremble. I feel numb, yes, but in this numbness, there's a sort of quiet power, an understanding that I can stand alone, that I can live with the consequences and not crumble. I close my eyes. In my mind, I see the sign I hung on the garage wall once upon a time. Anything that's broken can be fixed if you know how. Maybe I'll fix myself one day, piece by piece, or maybe I'll remain broken. For now, though, the air is still, and I let out a long breath. I'm not sure who I am anymore, but I'm alive to find out. Sleep creeps in, heavy and dreamless, like a blanket of silence. This time, I don't fight it. I let it carry me away.